Sarah felt the familiar pang of loneliness as she watched her husband play with their children. A beautiful family portrait, yet she felt profoundly alone. Years ago, they had chosen a sperm donor, a clinical decision driven by the longing for a family. Now, she found herself entangled in a secret relationship with the anonymous man whose DNA painted her children's smiles. Their initial contact had been purely informational, a way to learn more about the man who had helped create her family. But their conversations, initially polite and factual, soon morphed into something deeper, a shared space of vulnerability and understanding. Sarah found herself drawn to his wit, his intelligence, and his uncanny ability to soothe her anxieties. He understood her in ways her husband, consumed by his career and the demands of family life, seemed unable to. The guilt was a heavy weight, a constant reminder of her betrayal. She was a wife, a mother, yet she craved the intimacy and connection she found in the digital embrace of a stranger. Every stolen moment on the phone, every late-night message felt like an act of rebellion against the life she had built, a life that suddenly felt suffocating. The secrecy fueled her desire, turning their virtual connection into a forbidden obsession. Sarah was trapped between the life she had and the life she yearned for, a life painted in the vibrant colors of passion and connection. It began with curiosity. Sarah wanted to know the man whose genetic material had helped create the beautiful children she held in her arms. She felt a sense of gratitude, a desire to connect with the anonymous donor who had made her dream of motherhood a reality. Their early conversations were filled with medical histories, personality traits, shared interests. But as the weeks turned into months, the lines blurred. Sarah found herself anticipating his messages, her heart racing at the sight of his name on her phone. She discovered a shared passion for literature, a mutual love for long walks in nature, a similar sense of humor that sparked laughter across the miles. Their conversations became a lifeline, a source of comfort and understanding in a life that increasingly felt emotionally barren. Sarah knew it was wrong, this growing attraction to a man she had never met, a man who existed only as a voice on the other end of the phone and a string of text messages. But she couldn't deny the intensity of her feelings, the way her heart ached for his virtual presence. The guilt was a constant companion, a shadow lurking in the corners of her carefully constructed life. Yet the allure of their forbidden connection proved too strong to resist. Their virtual world became a haven, a space where Sarah could be her true self, stripped bare of societal expectations and the weight of her double life. They shared their fears, their dreams, their deepest desires. His words filled the void in her heart, a void that had been growing for years. The physical distance seemed to melt away as their emotional intimacy deepened. They were two souls seeking solace, finding comfort in the shared vulnerability of their connection. The guilt intensified with every stolen moment, every whispered phone call, every text message that vibrated with unspoken longing. Sarah knew she was playing with fire, risking her marriage, her family, her carefully constructed world for a man who existed in the ethereal realm of the digital world. The desire to meet, to bridge the gap between the virtual and the real, became an almost unbearable ache. The thought of seeing his face, of feeling his touch, filled her with both excitement and terror. Sarah found herself at a crossroads, torn between the familiar comfort of her life and the intoxicating allure of forbidden love. The lies began to chip away at Sarah's soul, each one a betrayal of the family she cherished. She became adept at hiding, at silencing her phone, at erasing the digital footprints of her secret life. The strain began to show. Her husband noticed her distracted air, the faraway look in her eyes, the quickness with which she turned away from his touch. Their conversations were strained, punctuated by silences that spoke volumes. He blamed work, the pressures of providing for their family. She offered tired smiles, empty reassurances. The distance between them grew, an invisible chasm carved out by secrets and unspoken truths. Sarah felt the weight of her deception pressing down on her, threatening to crush her. The guilt was a constant ache, a physical manifestation of her betrayal. She loved her children fiercely, her husband deeply, yet she couldn't seem to escape the gravitational pull of her forbidden love.
Her life had become a tangled web of deceit, and she was caught in its silken threads.
The realization hit Sarah with the force of a physical blow. She couldn't continue living this double life, this unsustainable balancing act of love and loyalty. The guilt was eating away at her, casting a dark shadow over her life. The time had come for a decision, a choice between the familiar comfort of her marriage and the intoxicating uncertainty of her forbidden love. The thought of hurting her husband, the man who had stood by her side through thick and thin, filled her with unbearable sadness. The thought of losing her children, the very reason she had embarked on this journey in the first place, was an unbearable agony. Yet the longing in her heart, the yearning for a connection that ran deeper than duty and obligation, refused to be silenced. Sarah stood at a crossroads, the weight of her choices heavy on her shoulders. The path ahead was shrouded in mist, the outcome uncertain. She knew that no matter what she chose, there would be pain, there would be consequences. But in the depths of her heart, Sarah also knew that she deserved to be happy, to experience the kind of love that had eluded her for so long. The journey ahead would be difficult, but she was finally ready to face it, to choose herself and to fight for her own happiness.